take your hands off
Come
the
on,
wheel.
just take it off. Let that
And let
it
it come back.
Let God do what He gonna do.
Let me do what I'm gonna do. And that's what he said. Let me do what I'm gonna do. So do you feel like your marriage is falling apart? Well, we're gonna address that today here on The Battle We Must Win. Welcome back to our channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rodney. This is Tiffany. And today we're gonna talk about what do you do when you feel like your marriage is falling apart?
It's a good one. Well, before we get started on that, for all of those of you who are new to the channel or just want to learn more about how to battle and marriage the right way, make sure you're subscribing to our channel. Hit that notification bell. Remember, we are posting videos every Tuesday. You do not want to miss one. All right, so make sure that you're liking the video, commenting on the video, and sharing the video, okay?
So if you really feel like your marriage is falling apart, I'm going to be honest, sometimes you're not in this by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, there are times when if you've been married 5 to 10 minutes, just a joke, but when you feel like you've been married for a while and things happen.
Yeah.
You know, you get certain feelings. You feel like you might be drifting apart.
Yeah.
You feel like love may be gone. You might feel like there's a disconnect. You might feel like there's distance between you and your spouse.
Yeah, actually, right? Also just being just personalizing this. I've been in a place where I felt like our marriage was hopeless. It was dead. Absence. We weren't there's separation going on, so you feel like it's over. It's not just falling apart, it's apart. We
are aware enough as individuals to recognize when things are starting to be a little bit different. We can recognize when there's a lack of intimacy, right?
Yeah.
We can recognize when our conversations have a little bit more tension between us. We can recognize when you as a man might not want to come right home from work. You feel like, let me make a stop at the store real quick just to walk around for a little bit before I come home. Because you have gotten to a point where you feel like you recognize, but you don't want to recognize that is something just not right.
Yeah.
So what do you do in those situations, though?
Well, we came up with 4 tips, 4 examples of things that you might want to consider doing during this time that you're feeling like your marriage is falling apart. The first thing is we really challenge you, ask that you challenge each other to sit down and have some conversations, tough conversations. You're really going to have to be mindful of during this time. It's going to be, it is difficult. For me, I know I had to practice, was it James 1:19, being quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Make sure we're practicing that. The communication is not going to go far if you're not truly sitting and listening to the heart of your spouse. Whether it be something that may cut you or it may hurt, you really have to sit down and talk and have these tough conversations and just be real with one another. So laying it out on the table, that's our first tip, having those tough conversations.
Those are the conversations a lot of times we want to avoid.
Yeah.
We don't want to have those tough ones because I don't think sometimes we want to acknowledge that something is going wrong.
Yeah.
We want to sweep it under the rug and we want to try to cover it up. We put our mask on, we go to work, put our mask on, we go to church, and sometimes we even put our mask on at home. We cover up the hurt. Something might have been said that hurtful to someone and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're coming from different backgrounds, different households, different ways of being raised up, different ways of communication from our homes. And we don't recognize that because we are new to marriage, or it might happen later on in marriage. We just honestly don't know.
Yeah.
But if you don't sit down and have those tough conversations, then you can't get past that point in your marriage to where you start healing. But those tough conversations are truly important.
Yeah.
if you understand your marriage is falling apart.
That's right.
Yeah.
The second thing that we want to talk to you about in regards to recognizing when your marriage is falling apart is just agreeing to seek some type of godly counsel, some help, whether it's together or individually. It's very important that we sit down and and talk to someone about it. Allow someone, godly of course, to pour into you, to give you some more biblical insight, perspective. Again, whether it's by yourself or together. I know even after, Rodney and I have our marriage has been restored for several years now, we continue to surround ourselves with mentors, and couples who can continue to pour into our lives. So it's very important. It keeps us on the straight and narrow, and it also offers accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely important. What would you say?
Yeah, a lot of times I know for us men, a lot of times we don't want to talk to nobody about anything.
Yeah.
And I know I can speak for myself, and I speak for my other brothers. A lot of times we don't want to share. We don't want to show any chink in our armors, and that could be to a fault. So we need to make sure that we have that trustworthy brother who's gonna get us back on track, or point your marriage back into the right direction. And it may be counsel, or it may just be that accountability partner that we link up with to make sure that we are staying on track within our marriage as a true godly husband. Right. And so if it does have to be a counselor or a therapist or whatever it may be, don't be ashamed of that either, because we need to make marriage a priority. And a lot of times we treat our wives like we treated our girlfriends back in the day. If it ain't working, I'm good, I'm gone. We can't do that. We definitely can't do that, because this is not, jokingly she might be my girlfriend, but this is my wife. And I need to see her totally different than what I saw that girl from high school or that one girl from college, that one girl I dated. I need to see her totally different than what I see anybody else in the past. So
that's right. That's right.
And the third point, let's look at praying and fasting. I'm gonna throw in either devotional time.
Yeah.
Finding, because I know for me, during a time when we started drifting apart, prayer was very important for me, but also devotional time. So I would listen to a lot of ministries. I still do to this day listen to ministries that talk a lot about marriage and family, because I want to stay sharp, basically. I want to stay sharp in what I'm doing. And if I want to get back on track, it's good to hear marital tips from godly people who have sometimes been through what you've been through, or sometimes trying to help you avoid going through some of the things that could happen in your marriage. So prayer, fasting, and also good spiritual devotional time, whether you find a devotional book or where you find that Bible app, that YouVersion app that a lot of us can download on our phones. It can give you a devotion about marriage. You can incorporate your wife in a devotion. I know there are times when I've sent a link to Tiffany and we've done a devotion together. You can put little notes in there together, and it shows that she's reading it sometimes, I'm reading it, and we can read each other's comments.
Yeah. And
so when you find yourself drifting apart, one way to bring us back together is to start going towards God together.
Yeah, that's so true. I think it's important that we fast and pray and just use that time to really focus on God. It does send the message to God that you are serious about this thing. You really need the Lord to step in on this situation. I couldn't touch it. When I knew our situation was falling apart, or has fallen apart, and I thought was over, I knew the only person that could resurrect this marriage was God. And I needed him to understand that I was serious. I needed him to work a miracle in this situation. So praying and fasting is very, very important. Then the fourth thing is to just sit back and allow room for God to do what he does best. The Bible tells us in Psalm, 46 and 10, to be still and to know that he is God. Man, I know that is a hard thing to do, is to just be still. And a lot of that is just allowing God to do what he does. make sure you're doing your daily, praying every day and allowing God to just do, because he knows your heart. He knows what's going on in your relationship, and just allow him to do what he does, and it's going to be such a blessing to see how he turns this thing around for you. We got to be on guard. We got to do all these things to fight to keep our marriage strong.
As you were talking about being still, I remember growing up and watching my mom and dad drive a car. And they would drive, and as they were driving, when you turned the corner, you had to bring it back with the wheel. At that time, they were bringing it back with the wheel because they didn't have power steering.
Oh.
And then once they got power steering, they were able to allow the wheel to come back and slide back into their hand and to be able to drive.
Okay.
They had to learn how to be still and allow the wheel to come back, because it's going to come back because of the power steering.
Okay.
And a lot of times, if you put your hand on the power steering wheel and you try to turn it, you can mess it up yourself.
Oh, that's a good
and you
one.
mess up, that turn.
Okay.
And so I think about us, and a lot of times we will try to insert our knowledge or insert my anger. I'm going to insert these words into this marriage. I'm going to change the way he feels. I'm going to change the way she acts. But God said, be still.
Preach.
Take your hands off
Come
the
on,
wheel.
Just take it off. Let that
and let it come back.
Let God do what he gonna do.
Let me do what I'm gonna do. And that's what he said. Let me do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I think he done
Because
said
if
something.
you put your hands on there, you're gonna mess it up. So allow God to do his work. I guarantee you, he won't let you down.
Amen, Pastor. All right. Yeah. So comment in the comment section today. Make sure you subscribe, like, and if you really found this to be helpful today, share it with a friend.
Yes. And if you want to know how to overcome adultery in marriage, click on that bio below and you can purchase our book.
Yeah.
And then you can also go to the Battle We Must Win website. You can check out our blog. You can book us to speak. And also you can give to us financially. Because if you give to us financially, you can help us continue to bless other marriages across this world. So we thank you for tuning in today. It was great seeing you. It was fun doing this topic.
That's right.
And we look forward to seeing you again next week. And let's not forget,
the battle continues.